Only in Japan.
In this episode, we head to a can't-miss area of Tokyo. Asakusa is a well-known neighborhood. Tokyo may be one of the world's most advanced cities, but here, things slow down a little. 3 areas to know are the central Asakusa area with Sensoji Temple, the Tokyo Sky Tree, and the Yoshiwara in the north, the historical home of Tokyo's pleasure quarters. We start right here at Asakusa's most famous intersection. So here we are at Asakusa. This is the old area of Tokyo. You can see behind me Kaminarimon and Sensoji, and over here, the Sky Tree, the newest addition to the Tokyo skyline. And to help me out with this report is Grigoris, who's been in Japan for how many years?
I've been in Japan for 6 years.
For 6 years.
Yeah.
Grigoris, what is your fascination with Asakusa?
I had a thing for Japan since I was a kid, and I had a thing for Shitamachi, the eastern part of Tokyo, also since I was a kid. So Asakusa seemed like a natural fit.
I think Asakusa is a lot more than just Sensoji and this area, right?
It is. It actually is. Well, for the most part, it's the Sensoji Temple. It's been the focus of the area for 1.5 millennia
right.
now. But there's also lots of other stuff around here, like the Yoshiwara.
Yoshiwara, right?
Yes.
Which is what we're focusing on today, the Oiran Dochu.
The Oiran Dochu, yes.
Right. What do people need to know about that?
Well, the Yoshiwara was the pleasure quarter of Edo, and there were several houses, and each house has its own prostitutes and courtesans. Well, they were, and they were artists, they were entertainers, they were all kinds of things.
But Oiran weren't geishas. Here's almost all you need to know. First, can you tell a geisha from an Oiran? Maybe not. The first thing we notice are their white faces. Well, here's a geisha. Her kimono is stylish, but simplistic. Beautiful hair, pulled back. Geisha cover their feet with tabi socks. From behind, you can see the obi. It's tied this way. Geisha apprentices have several levels, but their obi is tied loose like this. By the way, men could also be geisha. I bet you didn't know that.
Hooray for the dudes!
Geisha were strictly entertainers, skilled in song, dance, and playing instruments. Now here's a beautiful lady. She's a high-level Oiran, more specifically, a Tayu. How can we tell? She's wrapped in many elaborately colored layers of silk. Extravagant. The real celebrities of Tokyo. Her hair is decorated with all sorts of ornaments. A geisha would never do that. Top Oiran were skilled in all forms of art. Look, her feet are bare. This drove the men wild. Lovely. They also walked in high geita sandals, Japanese version of stiletto heels. From behind, you can see just how elaborate an Oiran looks. Do you think you can tell them apart now? A geisha? An Oiran. Get it right. Grigoris had more amazing facts to tell us about the Oiran.
And every day, each house would parade its top courtesan, its top Oiran, in the streets of Yoshiwara.
So I guess what you're saying is the Oiran in the Edo period were like the movie stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You can see the woodblock prints by Utamaro. For the most part, they are famous Oiran from that day. They were pretty expensive, freakishly expensive actually.
The Oiran were expensive?
Yeah.
Wow.
One night with the Oiran was about one yearly salary for a normal person. Yeah.
But it wasn't that easy, right? You actually had to be accepted by the Oiran. That's what a lot of people don't know. It wasn't just pay the money and have fun.
No. Especially the top Oiran, the Tayu, the ones we will see in the video under the umbrella.
Right.
The umbrella. You had to be introduced, and she had the right to deny.
The Oiran were really special ladies around town. Let's go to a recreation of one of their dochu, or parades, through the Yoshiwara. A lot of preparation is needed. Every part of the Oiran that was exposed had to be covered in white, including the feet.
Anywhere that skin would be visible.
The faces were immaculately painted. They were then fitted with padded undergarments before the kimono. Oiran kimono were more colorful than the geishas for a reason. They wanted to attract more attention for business. And that glamour was very good for business. The kimono is held in place with a rope before being tied with the first obi, and then a second one. It's really tight. And an outer layer with more padding. The tayu, the top-ranked oiran, had even more elaborate layers. The wig. When she wears this, you can never miss her walking down the street. It takes skill to put one on correctly. The tayu wigs are the heaviest. Attention to every detail. Everything had to be perfect to attract as much praise and attention on the streets. Surrounded by oiran, it's really quite an only in Japan sight. Can you tell the highest ranked tayu from the other courtesans? The tayu has a front drape called a manaita to add another layer to the silk onion. She may be carrying as many as 5 layers of kimono underneath. The woman in charge is YOKO OKITA. She has learned the traditional ways of the oiran and makes sure every little detail is just like it was during the Edo period. Prostitution was outlawed in 1958, and with that, the oiran culture has started to fade. There are very few who have been around to see a real Oiran Dochu. Let's ask Okita sensei her thoughts and why the Oiran Dochu is important to the neighborhood today.
だから私は自分が20歳20の時に松葉屋さんというところに入りまして、それはショーの世界ですから、あくまでも日本舞踊のショーの世界なので、もうカムロという役から始まって振袖SHINZOそれからタユと一応お役をいただいて、で最後クローズするまでおりましたから、あとTEKOMAIといってその木やりをしたりするものも全部教わったので。なので私が皆さんに教えていくことができるということで、その吉原の母体の松葉さんが亡くなってしまったけれども、やはり伝統のものですので、1年に1度そういう浅草の地元の子たちを集めて私が指導をして教えて、1年に1度そうやってお披露目をするということで、まだ花魁道中本物の吉原の江戸の吉原の本物の花魁道中がまだちゃんと残っていますよということで、だんだん毎年毎年向上していって、その町も活性化していますし、そのためにやはりお客様もたくさん集まってくださるようになりましたから、これから先も続けていくことが大事なことだと思います。だから芸者さんは芸を振る、花魁は身を振る。もう今は花魁は実際にはいません。芸者さんは実際にはいます。伝統芸術ですから、伝統芸術であるし伝承芸術でありますので、それは残していきたいから教えて伝えております。
After talking with Okita sensei, I understood just how much preparation went into this annual event. The Oiran Dochu would not be possible without Okita sensei's extensive experience. The event gets bigger and bigger every year, and this year they have live musicians and singers rather than recordings. Let's move ahead to the event. I have trouble walking around in normal geita, but these, they are towers. This makes sure the oiran is the highest one in the procession. You can see those bare feet. Lovely. 1 foot in front of the other. The Tayu had a very distinctive walking style, swooping the foot out in an 8 pattern. It's called the Soto Hachi Moji. In the front are dancers and musicians with masks of foxes or KITSUNE. The fox symbolizes Inari, the patron deity of the Yoshiwara. You can throw them coins wrapped in paper and they'll feed it to the shishi, or lion. The KANABO-HIKI, or night watchmen, carry the metal sticks. They clank on the street to attract the attention of the crowd. There are the TEKOMAI geisha with men's hairstyles and clothing. The Chochin mochi carry a lantern with the Tayu's name. There are also her servants called KAMURO. She's supported by an assistant called the Katakashi no Otokoshu. Holding the umbrella is the Kasamochi no Otokoshu. In the back are the apprentice Oiran called FURISODE SHINZO. So that's the procession in a nutshell. It goes on for about 400 meters to the stage, where the Oiran show the crowd how customers were served. Grigoris took me to a special tree at the old Yoshiwara gate.
It's a willow. They call that the Mikaeri Yanagi.
Okay.
Yeah, which means the looking back willow. The willow was a symbol of the courtesans and the geisha, and this is the last thing that the people living in the Yoshiwara would see on their way out.
Tokyo and the Yoshiwara has changed a lot, but the traditions live on, handed down from one generation to the next. When you're in Asakusa, look around, even look up. You might find yourself standing in the shade of history.